Moving up to 167, Karam of Lock Haven and Banks of Bloomsburg.
Well, Jody comes back to the Lehigh Valley. He's from Easton, and he's wrestling very well this year for Lock Haven. And Marty Banks, these two guys, you know, Bloomsburg and Lock Haven bang heads quite often, and they'll be at it more than once this year. I feel Karam's looking very strong out there.
167 pounds, Jody Karam of Lock Haven from Easton, Pennsylvania. He's a senior. And Mark Banks from Bloomsburg University. And he is from York, Pennsylvania. Larry, we saw a lot of Mark Banks in the PIAA finals, I remember, the years that we've done those matches. This ought to be a good one. Two good wrestlers. Karam ranked first, and right off the bat, a lot of action on the mat, and he's got him on his back. And we could have one of those pins that are so rare, except that he just may run out of mat.
Man, he really put him towards his back, but the points will end up 2 and 3, and a real surprise. A great move there. Mark Banks, sophomore out of York, caught Karam sleeping, and really, he's down 5-0 in the first 9 seconds.
Take it.
When we were talking about the infrequent pins, we mentioned in the last 7 years, Peter Yazzo had one, and then you got to go way back to 1980. Lee Nonamaker letting us know about that one. Way back in 1980, Jim Riley of Lehigh had a fall. So there have not been many.
You saw Karam get a reversal, and immediately a few seconds later the situation changes, and the escape goes to Mark Banks. Banks was ranked 3rd. He's a sophomore from York, PA. Karam looking very strong, but they said he got caught, and that's what happens in this game of wrestling. You walk out and bang.
Head down.
He's down 6-2 with 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in the first period. Karam's parents live in Allentown. Jody himself wrestled for Dave Crowell. He's a regional and district
champion. And here he goes
again.
I'm telling you, Banks really driving his man down.
No backs. Take down, no backs.
Take down, no back points. You hear the ref.
8-2. A lot of points racked up really early by Mark Banks of Bloomsburg. He's just a sophomore.
Here we have a situation.
Back to center.
Trying to work out the mathematics. We figured it was right in deep. Lifts some tight body throw right here. Back of the heel. Drives him. And Karam down now by 6. And we're still in the first period with 10 points on the board.
8-2. And Larry, he's dealing with a wrestler here. Jody Karam was ranked 6th in the country, and he's got him again down there.
Don't hit him. Don't hit him.
10-3 lead with a minute and a half to go in the first period. Mark Banks is really doing a job on
neutral
Jody Karam, and finally the escape, making it 10-4. Karam was ranked 6th by the Amateur Wrestling News in the preseason wrestling polls in this weight class. And Banks wasn't ranked at all. He's just a sophomore, and he's leading 10-4.
He had a great bout in the semifinals today, Banks. He wrestled Brian Kurlander, who's nationally ranked from James Madison. Beat him on a criteria F. It was 1-1 in the duel.
1 point. Carried him off the mat. 1 point.
1 point given by Banks, as they said that Karam took him right off the mat.
So you're down.
Don't see that very often, Larry.
No, you got a point for him carrying you off the mat, but you were taken down. You're on top.
So John Hosage explains it for you.
Right down.
No need to repeat that. We've had 17 points scored in the first 2 minutes and 10 seconds of this period. By far the most action of any bout. And there goes Banks again. He just is a tiger out there.
He's got the same takedown 4 times. You'd think by now Karam would...
No, hold it.
Oh, boy.
No, he wasn't in criteria. No. He used the lock to take him to his back. That's illegal. 1 point. 1 point.
What happened, sir?
You can't use the lock to take him to his back. He wasn't in
Let's look.
criteria. You can't use the lock to put him in
All right,
criteria.
his arm right there, his back. You see that? Now that's an illegal hold.
You're down.
You can't lock around the body.
You got a penalty for him locking his hands to put you on your back.
And you can see
Take
it.
him down.
We have a 14-7 score.
Neutral.
Get in your stance and get ready. Get set.
Okay.
Karam not looking happy about the outcome here. He's did a little off-the-mat wrestling. He's down 14-8.
That was double precipitated. Your boat is gilding, okay? No penalty.
I'm telling
on either
you,
guy.
Larry, this is chock
Just
full of
start that again,
action.
Hit them both of you.
14
okay?
to
Now
8.
Cool it down. Just stick to wrestling.
Mark Banks and Jody Karam in a real barn burner here.
Well, he gets him on that double leg dive every time with 18 seconds to go. Let's see, this time Karam's in on a single on Banks, trying to trip him to bring him to the mat. Trying to bring him back. They're near the edge of the mat.
Take down.
And he gets 2.
14 to 10.
24 points in the first period.
You got it right. 24 points scored in the first period alone.
I think that's more than the
Everything combined.
Everything combined tonight.
Your choice.
Assistant coach
Easy first.
Justice yelling into Karam,
Easy first to you.
and he says, do it bit by bit.
He takes down.
Looking down at another match, Larry, I think Solomon Fleckman victorious over North Carolina State wrestler in his consolations at 158.
I think Karam's going to let him up. He will. But this is where Karam gets caught. Banks just stalks and dives under, gets a double leg dive.
Now Karam gets in deep on that left leg, and although he was behind by a few points, he's not about to give up. Looking for the 2. Will he get it near the edge of the
Nope.
mat? No control yet. Still no control. Banks fighting it. Now Banks is able to come over the top, and Karam probably will lose everything, and he does.
Neutral. No takedown.
Minute and 32 seconds to go in a great bout. Championship final at 167 of the Sheridan tournament. Mark Banks of Bloomsburg, the sophomore, out in front of Jody Karam of Lock Haven.
There's
a
that double
senior.
live.
There's that drive again.
This time, Karam was able to get around the waist.
Keep working.
About the third place.
Tell me.
John Parrott, Lockheed, position Pat Smith, score 6-3.
Well, originally Karam was down in the first 8 seconds, 5-zip. He hadn't changed it. The score's 15 to 10. It's still down by 5.
He did give away a point.
One.
.59 seconds to go in the second period. 15 to 10 for Mark Banks of Bloomsburg. Jody Karam is in
Takedown.
red. 2-point takedown, so Karam narrows the gap to 15-12. Escape to Banks makes it 16-12 in favor of Banks. Banks with the white knee pad. A lot of points, a lot of action. Half a minute to go in the second period. Banks 16 to 12 here. Karam misses, and Banks comes around and sweeps in for 2. Well, sometimes you do it, Larry. Sometimes you don't.
You're on top.
Karam made a move. It missed, and Banks came right around and picked up a quick 2. 18-12, Banks.
There's Coach
Take
Neil
it.
Turner, assistant coach Justice.
Banks still holding control, now has a minute in riding time to add to his score, should he need it. Time running out. The period will conclude, and they go down to the mat, but no additional points.
No change.
And at the end of 2 periods, it's 18-12. Mark Banks of Bloomsburg.
Let's go, Jody. We're getting closer.
Your choice. He takes the bottom.
Well, Shell, as I said 5 minutes ago, it was a 5-point spread at 5-0.
Okay,
now
yes,
it's
sir.
6
Take it.
points, 18-12. A lot of wrestling, but that's tough to make up that 5-point gap.
Especially when you're wrestling a dynamo like
Neutral.
Mark Banks. He just stays in
It
there.
gives him a neutral, and he might get a
Neutral.
shrug and come back on a 2.
All the guys.
Jody. Jody. Don't tie up. Low. Come on. Keep your head up on the shot.
Roger Sanders on one side saying, do this. The other side, do that. There's another sweep. Picks up the ankle.
Get up high. Get up high. Get up higher. Get it up higher.
No, he's not holding the headgear. No.
Banks is real persistent. He just will not give
Yeah,
up.
It worked in there. Come on in.
Good job, Mark. Good job, buddy.
I thought you were going to lose the TV set down there, Shell. Camera, anyway.
1:17 to go in the 3rd period. Mark Banks leading 18-13 over Jody Karam. Karam seated first in the tournament in this weight class. In danger of being upset, but he does get a 2-point
Watch your
takedown,
leg.
and he's still hanging in there. Now he's going to have to let him up to make it 19-15. And so Karam is going to just have to depend on taking down his opponent. Stalling call on Banks, and Larry, I just don't know how that happened.
Well,
I mean,
tell you
that's
the
got to
truth.
be one of the strangest calls of all time.
Well, Banks is tired.
Yeah,
And I'm
he's
gonna tell you.
tired, Larry, but he's been chasing the man over the mat.
Yep.
You got to have a little patience out there with a guy been chasing him around for 7 minutes.
He's got to wear the headgear.
19-15.
Illegal hold. What he did, he underhooked, took him by the headgear. He's going to penalize him.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Wait, this is going to be a
Stay
penalty
over the
against
mark.
Karam.
Stay over on the mark. Stay on the mark.
Bust his head.
Stay on the mark. Oh, right there.
You're dead. I'm trying.
Stay on the mark right there. Go back to the corner. I'll get it. Get back to the corner.
I think he might disqualify somebody.
Okay. Okay, the first penalty is a grabbing a headgear by that man. Goes 1 point to Bloomsburg.
On deck on 1.
Okay, we have one other penalty, don't we?
No, he's got that
What
wroong.
was
He
the
put
other
him. He put out the point the wrong way. It should be 20 to 15.
Yeah, so you got another technical violation for the grabbing a headgear. That's the second one.
And it's still just a 1 point.
That's the, yes, that's a 1-pointer. Then you have an unnecessary roughness with the hand in the face. Against Lockhaven, that's a 2-pointer. So there's 2 penalties. So you got 3 points up there. You have 1 for the headgear. Then the third penalty is the face, which is the third one.
Yeah,
Larry, that's the good
Karam's
part.
close to getting
You
disqualified.
got to cool down, okay? Yeah, but you had your 2 hands in his face. Oh, you had your hands in his
Larry,
mouth.
that's a good thing about
Cool
having
down. The
a
next penalty
mic on
is
an
done. Now
official.
cool
You
down.
just let him
You know,
explain
you gotta
it.
care.
It was 19 to
Care and
15.
wrestle and wrestle well. There's a lot of time left. Just wrestle. Don't blow it.
Hey, what's 22?
40. Okay, wait. Well, the grasping clothing is the same signal. He had him by the headgear.
Oh.
And that's, okay, he was holding the side of the headgear not to get taken down.
Well, when they get it straightened out, and you heard
Okay.
the complete explanation by Osage, it's 22-15 in favor of Banks, and he's got his man down, but now coming over the top, trying to turn it around is Karam. He's not going to be able to do it, and this could develop into a
Keep
stalemate.
wrestling, keep wrestling.
Banks trying to get out as Karam is coming around, but even if Karam gets a takedown here, Banks trying to put in a cradle and grab that left leg, and he's not doing it successfully. Now he's trying to drive him forward, but he may not have enough time to do this. Will he have enough time?
2, 3, 4, 5.
That's it. You know what? He's going to get 5 points but lose because he has a minute and 3 seconds time advantage. It's going to be 22-22 on the board and 1:03 time advantage.
I think it's, well, 20,
Shake hands,
says
gentlemen.
23-20
Cool.
will be the final score.
Well, they didn't give him the takedown and the three-point near fall. That would have been 22-22 with a point for time, makes it 23-22.
And so Banks, in what by far was the most exciting bout we've had yet, wins it 23-20 and is the champ at 167. And Larry, that was the most exciting bout I can remember in a long time in this tournament.
That should have been 20.
Wonderful battle. At 167, in the match that produced the most points ever scored in the Sheridan tournament, Banks of Bloomsburg upset Jody Karam, the #1 seed of Lock Haven, 23-20.